So okay, the first, so we have clubbed all the similar questions, ma'am. So I'll go with the first, and then you can tell me how you want it. Okay. I hope you can see the screen, ma'am.
Yeah,
Is it
I can see.
okay? Okay. Too much overthinking and mainly negativity, feeling that I will fail in almost everything. Sometimes feeling lost and feel that I am not worthy enough. No one to back up me in most steps.
Okay. Hi, I'm Atika and I'm a counseling psychologist, and a very good evening to all of you. So, as I'll be answering these questions, I think there are a certain, common themes that are going to run between the questions. And as I can see on the screen, I think the first three are really about self-worth, self-esteem, right? Well, I think that self worth is how we value ourselves, right? How we feel about ourselves. And this is a very internal, it has to come from within. Okay. I think the first thing to really understand is that this way of thinking, this, feeling that I'm not good enough or I'm not worthy enough. I think we need to go back a little, and explore where did this thinking start, and a lot of time it goes back to our childhood, that these are the kind of messages that we were given, whether we were compared to others, or in school we were sort of brought down by our teachers, or is that the parental messaging that I got from my parents, that you are good if you get 90%, or you are worthy if you do something. And I think that's what happens, that we base our worth on then our achievements or accomplishments, and it's always external. And the danger to that is that when you don't suppose pass an exam or you don't get a promotion, you're going to feel really, really bad about yourself because you've based your worth on that. So the idea is to understand the roots of it. Okay. Understand that today you're an adult. You're not no longer a dependent, helpless child. So how do I now cultivate my self-worth? Because now you're no longer dependent on your parents or your teachers or your, caregivers around you to really nurture you. So how do you nurture yourself? You know, and the way to start is that, we call it mistaken beliefs, which are, we form these beliefs about us, about the world, because of our childhood experiences. So what are my mistaken beliefs? Am I not good enough? The world is a dangerous place. I can't trust anyone. Okay. And then you have to sort of look at, is this always true for me? What evidence do I have? So this is always true. Is it true? Okay, some of it may be, some of it may not be. And then to say, you know what, today I'm the adult, so I get to decide my inner voice. And to be able to say that this is my voice, no, I am worthy. And I am worthy because I am a human being. That's it. Not because I'm performing, not because I have so many followers on social media. No, you're worthy because you're a human being, right? And yes, there will be a critical voice inside you, and you say, is this my inner voice, or this is my parents' inner voice, or this is my teacher's inner voice? You decide that difference. And a very famous family therapist, Virginia Satir, she was of the belief that everyone has basic few things that make them worthy, and those would be our senses, right? We all have our basic senses. Some of us don't, but they do have a highly intuitive other sense. So you're worthy just because of that. The fact that you can see, you can hear, you can smell, you can touch, you can think, you can feel, that makes you worthy of being a human being. So that is one thing, you know. The other thing is you identify your emotional needs. We all have, like our physical needs, we have emotional needs like, we want to be loved, we want to be appreciated, we want to be recognized, you know. So which of these is more important to you? And then how do you go about fulfilling them? So, for example, if I want to be loved, how do I communicate that to the people around me? Or do I just sit there and say, you know what, the other person should know that my I have this need to feel loved and they should do everything in their power? Well, we cannot go into someone else's mind. So this is not a very realistic expectation to have. So if you need to feel love, if you need to feel cared, you have to communicate that, you know what, I need a hug from you because that is going to make me feel good. You have to be that specific. You know what? I would like you to do this for me because that's how I'm going to feel supported. Because your definition of love and someone else's definition is going to be very different, you know? So you need to then identify that need and fulfill it because today you are the adult and you're responsible, like you're responsible for your physical needs. I'm sure you don't starve or you don't wait like, oh, you know what? I'm going to starve and my mother's going to come and feed me. Well, as a 2-year old, you did do that because you were dependent. You didn't have the capability. But as an adult, you do. So if you're not going to starve and you're not going to wait for your physical needs to get fulfilled by someone else, why do we wait for our emotional needs to get fulfilled by someone else? You're absolutely a self sufficient individual. So if you need something, you have to ask for it and how you want it. That's one. The other thing is you gotta indulge in, self-nurturing activities. So what do I enjoy doing? What makes me feel good? You know, does reading a book make me feel good? Does watching a Netflix show make me feel good? Or going out with my friends, having a cup of coffee or whatever. So what makes me feel good? Only I know that. Nobody else can tell me. Even when people come to me for therapy, I ask them. I don't know what makes them feel good. I'm not living their life. They need to tell me. I facilitate that. But they need to tell me what makes them. And then you try those things, you know? So things like that. Develop a support system. Okay? Because research has that. If you have good relationships, if you have healthy relationships, it's a big one to make you feel good, to make you feel supported, to make you feel appreciated and feel loved. So have a good support system, whether it's in terms of family, friends, partners, intimate partners. Build that, make an effort into that. And then affirmations. I love this affirmation, and I make my daughter and my whole family do this every night. Okay. So say to yourself 3 times, the world is a better place because I'm in it. I don't think there's a more powerful affirmation than this. And this just conveys that it's better because of who you are, not because of what you do. Okay? The world is a better place because I'm in it. You know? Affirmations like I value me, I appreciate me. And that's it. It's not I appreciate myself because there's no because. Full stop. I appreciate myself. Okay, so affirmations, very, very powerful. Look at yourself in the mirror, maintain eye contact. Trust me, it's very difficult to maintain eye contact with yourself. Maintain eye contact at least for 60 seconds. Say these affirmations. Very powerful. Because when you practice something, when you're saying something like you've developed a critical voice, you're changing that. That's the message. The language that you use, you're changing the neuro circuits in your brain. Those pathways that have got cemented. Now you're replacing that with something. And that's going to take practice. It's not going to come overnight. As a 1-year old, you did not think that you were not worthy. You wanted something, you demanded it, well, whether it was a tantrum or whatever, and you got it, right? So, yeah, that's what you do. You change that neurocircuit in your brain by using these affirmations. Secondly, things like your feelings. We're not taught to validate our feelings. We're always taught to minimize our feelings. Don't get angry. Don't be upset. Boys don't cry. Girls don't shout. That's social conditioning. Okay? Well, learn to validate that emotion because you will have that emotion. You will have that feeling. It's how you give it an outlet is a healthy or unhealthy way. It's not bad to have anger. Remember, anger also serves a purpose. When you feel angry, for example, there's a part of you that's telling you, you know what? Someone has crossed a boundary with me and I don't like it. So you're actually standing up for yourself. You're being assertive. So embrace that part of yourself. And then what do you do with that anger? Do you react back? No. You acknowledge that anger. Say, well, you know what? That's because a boundary has been crossed. I don't like it. Now what can I do about it? Or what you can do is you can smash a pillow you want. You want to scream in an empty room, go ahead and do it. You want to, go for a jog. You want to take deep breaths. But remember, every emotion has a purpose. Even hurt, even loss, sadness, because it's telling you that you've lost something that is precious to you. So understand the function of these emotions. No, no, there are no positive emotions, there are no negative emotions. They're just emotions. Some make us feel good, some make us feel discomfort. Okay? But even the uncomfortable ones, you need them for your survival. So, for example, fear. If you were fearless and you were, a tiger came in front of you, you wouldn't run, right? And what would happen to you? You'd get eaten up. So, fear at that time goes into what? You need to run. So it's serving you a purpose. Understand the purpose of those emotions and then validate that emotion. Because if you are not going to validate yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. Okay, that's how you develop self worth. And like I said, these are all parts of us. Okay, we have a part that is, that loves us, we have a part that has these uncomfortable emotions. But embrace that because it's serving you, you know try to understand what is it telling you about yourself. The last thing about developing self-worth is self-love and self-compassion. And so for example, if there's a child who comes crying to you, is in pain, is in sadness, what are you going to do? I'm sure a lot of you are going to try and comfort that child, right? So do that to yourself. We call this reparenting. So you gotta reparent yourself. Okay, you comfort yourself like you would comfort someone else. How come you are comforting and nice and empathetic to a friend but not yourself? Okay, so self-compassion will lead to self-love, will lead to self-worth. All right, I hope I've answered that.
Yes. One next question. Uh, had it from my early ages. I am lonely kind of person, and throughout childhood there were not any friends. Now also there are no close friends. It had sometimes led to loneliness and some sort of depression at times, not serious depression, but at times this led to actions that were uncontrollable. Like started watching pornography to overcome that loneliness and lack of intimacy.
Okay, so now loneliness means that you want companionship, right? That's your emotional need. If that is understand that is your need, and how can I fulfill it? Okay. And what stops me from making friends? If that's my, see, the thing with needs is that they are there for a lifetime, like your physical needs. It's not like you've eaten lunch today and then you're not going to feel hungry for the rest of your life, right? You will eat lunch tomorrow, you will eat lunch day after. So physical needs are ongoing, so are emotional needs. So if your need to connect, because human beings are social beings, we have an inherent need to connect, to have companionship. That's why COVID was so hard, because we had to isolate, right? So if your need is for companionship, then you have to understand, how do I fulfill it? What are the different ways that I can fulfill it? Because if you don't fulfill the need in a healthy way, the way you're going to cope is with indulging in unhealthy habits. So porn addiction, gaming addictions. Again, these addictions are trying to tell you something. Okay, so how do I fulfill this in a lonely, in a healthier way? And if you feel that you're getting stuck and there's no way you can reach out, or you're apprehensive, what is that fear? What are others going to think of me? No, I'm too shy. What if this person rejects me? Well, rejection, people will reject you. I mean, I'm sure you reject people as well, right? You don't get along with everyone. You'll always have these few people who you get along with, who you're more comfortable with. So that, you know, so mm, if you're going to measure life on an always scale, like, what? If I reach out to like these 100 people and they all have to like respond to me, not gonna happen. If you reach out to 10 people, realistically probably only two will respond. you know So how realistic are my expectations? And am I always expecting something, like, well, today I messaged five people and they all five of them need to respond? No, not gonna happen. Maybe they don't respond today, maybe they respond after 3 hours, or after 2 days. Possibility. All of this, if you feel you're stuck in this cycle and you can't get out of it, do seek help. Do seek professional help. This is what therapists do, this is what counselors do, this is what psychologists do. They identify your patterns, they help you to understand them, the root of it, and then how to overcome it. So seek that help.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that. Next question. There's fear of commitment and fear of getting hurt if you are in a relationship. Also, if I can't be like an expected person to the other, will it lead to problems? Also, I think that love is mostly selfish and people just want to take advantage of me. So, in most cases, I don't want to get involved. There's always a selfish motive behind a relationship. How do I overcome this? Next one, in most relationship, any kind of relationship, I have this feeling of lack of intimacy, and I'm really scared of getting close with the person because I don't know how people will use you and maybe use your negatives against.
Well, there's no, life is not without risks, right? you know I mean, even when you sit in your car every day, you are putting yourself at risk, right? Even when you go out of the house, you are putting yourself, but you do it, right? And that's how relationships are. There is no guarantee. Okay. And yes, it's a very valid fear that you might get hurt, you might get taken advantage of, and all very valid. But the idea is that if you're going to keep avoiding it, so two choices here you have. One is that, what, my fear of getting hurt is so big that I'm going to forego intimacy. You can choose that. But the consequences of that is I will be lonely for the rest of my life. My friends will probably settle, have their own families. You know, so can I like just be with myself? Am I okay? Travel, do whatever. Okay. That's a choice. But if that's not what you want, and you want an intimate relationship and you want to feel safe, so trust yourself for that judgment, you know. Remember, our survival instincts are so, so strong. At times, they will overpower. So the moment you will pick up signs, okay, that can I trust this person? And you're not going to trust someone on the first date, right? You know, your first date is only to evaluate, do I want to meet this person again? You know, that's all that it tells you. Okay. So, yeah, that is very valid fear. Deal with that fear. What if I do get hurt? What's going to happen to me? Well, I'll cry. How long will I cry for? 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Have a time frame. What will you do after those 3 years? Will you get up and get your life back on track? If the answer is yes, then you will survive it, right? I mean, you did survive the pandemic, right? Nobody knew it's going to hit. We all survived it. So that, okay. So answer that what if I do get my heart broken? I'm going to be totally depressed. I'm going to be just not going out of the house. But will I pick myself up after 6 months? Because remember, feelings are transitory, they come and go. Okay. So if you can survive it and you want an intimate relationship, it's worth giving it a shot. Okay. Write down your apprehensions, write down your fears. And yes, there will be people, who take it. I mean, I'm sure you've had this even in friendships, right? Some people may have taken advantage of you, but you have come across good people as well, right? So, like I said, there's no, you choose between the consequences of these two things, okay? The choice is not whether I get involved or I don't. The choice is whether I can deal with the intimacy of not having a romantic relationship, or whether I can, deal with the consequences of having one. And it could be real, it could be amazing with its moments of up and down, or I could get hurt. So that's what you choose between the consequences of these decisions. I
Thank you.
hope I've answered that.
Yes, yes, you are. You put it. You well said. You put it really well. Next one. The inner voice, more like an inner me, just talking to myself, non-stop, making deals, debating, conflicting ideas, is sometimes stronger than myself. It's not harmful, but it drains my brain while doing stuff.
So I think I would want to ask here, is that the inner voice, is it critical? And I'm guessing it's probably critical, you know, and doubting your capability, doubting again whether you're worthy, whether you're good, have you sort of done this job well? Have you said the right thing? So yeah. So remember, when we have these constant thoughts, okay, which are not very controlled, when you're like preoccupied, there could be an underlying anxiety to it. Okay. Now, anxiety also serves a purpose, because you're actually expecting a negative outcome. Okay. And what this anxiety is doing, it's trying to prepare you for that negative outcome. Okay. So if you can go beyond and actually say that, okay, what are these thoughts telling me? You know, they're telling you something, and a thought will be accompanied with the feeling. So, what is this feeling telling you? Right? And work on that. Okay. And yes, it does occupy so much time because you're giving it so much time. Okay. So, what you can try is, you know, when these thoughts come, you say, okay, wait, you know what? I'm going to deal with these thoughts between 2 and 3 o'clock, and let these thoughts come. So schedule a time. Okay. If they come, you say, no, you know what? Tomorrow, 2 o'clock. and go ahead and indulge in, those thoughts. But the rest of the time, it needs to wait. Okay. And if the anxiety is too much, if it's actually impacting, your daily life in terms of your work or your relationships, then remember it's time to see a professional, mental health professional. Okay. So schedule a time for anxiety. There is no running away from thoughts or feelings. The more you run away, the more it's going to persist. There is there's, I don't know, but buffaloes, okay, when they see a storm, they don't run away from it, they run into the storm. And that is because they are minimizing the discomfort. So by running into the storm, you've just minimized your discomfort. So that's what it is with these thoughts and feelings. You can't run away from it. You got to face it head on. Yeah.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next one. I don't know why I feel this way. Anytime anybody praises me, I feel I'm not worthy of the praise. I constantly feel I have not worked up to my potential and I'm lucky to succeed whenever I do. How can I overcome this feeling?
I think this is part of my first answer that I gave about self-worth.
Ah, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so this is basically, again, am I worthy because I do something? And if you do feel that, list down your achievements. And achievements are not just in terms of, I got like 90% or I got a promotion. No. Achievement is also, what? I overcame a challenge in my life. This is a hard time that I was going through and I did overcome this, you know, or I couldn't get out of bed. I was really down and out, but I did push myself. That is also an achievement. So have that, write down every single day, maintain a journal, write down 3 things that I've done well in my day to day. That's how achievement gets built. Okay. And the rest, like I said, you got to identify the root. Where is this messaging coming from? That, it's not me, it's not my capability, but it's just luck. Okay. Where does this have root? Okay. What is my belief? Am I not good enough? Well, today, like I said, as an adult, change that inner voice because you have control over it and only you can change it. And if, it doesn't work, seek help. We don't have to seek help when you're totally down and under. Okay. It's like, especially in today's times, the way mental health is viewed, it's like you go to a doctor when you're sick, right? But you don't go to the gym because you're sick, or you go to the gym every day because you want to feel healthy, right? That's what a mental health professional is. You don't have to hit rock bottom. You can just go ahead and go talk to them. It doesn't have to be, that I'm undergoing anxiety or depression or it's a full-fledged clinical disorder. Then I seek help. No, seek help for your everyday feelings. Go talk to someone because with that person's help, you can identify, what is my childhood messaging? Where are these roots? Why do I behave the way I do? What are these patterns? What are these themes that are running in my life? And then how do I deal with them? How do I develop a healthier coping mechanism? Because, when you felt these feelings as a kid, remember it was a matter of survival. Okay. So, for example, if, there's been parental neglect, or a lot of people have, had some abuse, whether it's sexual or it's emotional. As a child, you survived that. Okay. And that's how you develop these things. And it served a purpose then. Today, you're questioning it because it's no longer serving a purpose, because you don't need to be on a survival stance. So it's not working anymore. So how do you change this? So, yes, talking to a therapist about it, great idea. Because then the therapist is trained to help you in dealing with these feelings. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next thing, I'm unable to sleep in the night. Maximum, I get 3 to 4 hours of sleep. Is there any way to increase my sleep hours without medication? I'm 20-year-old male.
Okay, so lack of sleep often leads to, is there something that you're worried about? Is there an anxiety behind there that you wake up? Also, when you wake up after, these 3 or 4 hours, what are the thoughts in your mind? Okay, are there some thoughts? Because, like I said, a lot of it will have to do with, some sort of worry, you know. So, what are these worries? And great idea to write them down. Okay, are you worried about, a job? Are you worried about a relationship? Are you worried about your parental approval? Are you worried about how people are going to see you? Are you worried about what, a presentation at work? So write down these worries. Okay, so uh those are two things that you need to do. The other is, things like no screen at least 2 hours before you sleep. Okay, because remember, whether it's your phone, laptop, television, the blue light that gets emitted, it inhibits the sleep hormone, which is melatonin. Okay, and if you're watching something, what you've done is you've stimulated your brain. Now, if you stimulated your brain is not going to fall asleep. Okay, because that energy that has built up needs to have an outlet in terms of like a workout. Okay, so 2 hours before, no checking your phone, no devices. Okay, you need to do self-soothing activity like a warm bath. Basically, if you're worried, if you're anxious, if you're thinking about tomorrow, your brain is gone into fight or flight. Okay, now when you've activated that stance, there's no way it's going to sleep, right? Because it's perceived a threat. Okay, so your ability to sleep is not going to happen. Okay, so you need to sort of tone it down, need to wind down. Okay, whether it's in terms of having a bath, a warm bath, drinking a glass of warm milk, reading. There's a reason why parents read to their kids. It's a great way to relax your mind. Okay, so reading is one. Things like no caffeine, no alcohol a few hours before you sleep, drink chamomile, natural remedies. I think ashwagandha is very good for sleep. So consult, a doctor, see what are the natural remedies. Again, you've got to de stress. Also, physical workout and a balanced diet on a regular basis. To increase sleep, you need to be indulging in these. Go to bed at the same time every single day because you're telling your brain that this is my time to go to bed. So you need to have a consistent routine. If you're going to sleep one day at 10 o'clock, the other day at 1 o'clock in the morning, brain is confused. So a consistent routine. Sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time. Yeah, these are the few things that you can try.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the tips. Next question. When do I know that I or any of my friends should see a therapist? Is there any symptoms or signs I should look out for?
Personally, I believe everyone should see a therapist at least once in their life. Because, like I said, the difference is between going to a doctor or going to the gym. And, when you go to therapy, you're making a good life better, you know. So, however, um, some of the things that tell you that when you should seek help is, according to the American Psychological Association, is when you're thinking or preoccupied with an issue constantly for at least 1 hour in a day, every day. Okay. Second, when the issue is causing you some sort of embarrassment or you're avoiding others, so you're withdrawing yourself. The issues are, impacting the quality of your life. So, like social withdrawal, um, feelings, overwhelming feelings. It's negatively impacting your work or your relationships. Then you have developed certain habits to cope with that issue. So it could be like checking your phone constantly, could be porn, could be substance abuse. So these are a few indicators that yes, you need to seek help. These are in terms of how it's impacting your quality. The others are also in terms of feelings. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Okay. Um, are these feelings disproportionate? So, disproportionate anger, rage, sadness, these kind of feelings. So, hopelessness, you know. So, this is when you must see a therapist. The rest, like I said, it's making a good life better. Okay. So, how will therapy benefit? Uh, Awareness about yourself, your feelings, your thoughts, the way you cope, why you behave the way you do, why do you have certain insecurities, what are these fears, what are certain barriers that are stopping you from reaching your potential, if there is any confusion. That's what therapy does. It helps you clear that fogged mind. you know it also, if you want to achieve certain goals, along with the therapist, you learn how to have set these goals and then achieve them. Fulfilling relationships. you know so identify what are toxic relationships, what are healthy patterns, what are unhealthy patterns. How do you maintain a relationship, how do you trust. What are your insecurities, fears that you may not be aware of. So remember, we operate from only like the tip of the iceberg, which is our conscious. The whole iceberg, the rest of it is our subconscious, is our unconscious. 90% is our subconscious and our unconscious. Only 10% is our conscious mind. So 90% you operate out of, you don't know why. Okay, so that's what you do in therapy. Uh, Therapy offers you, a safe and a non-judgmental space. When you go to friends, it's great to seek advice from friends, family. Okay, but remember, they're also emotionally invested in you. you know so they may find it hard to be very objective, and they will give you advice which you may not like. The truth is, none of us like advice. We love giving it, but we don't like taking it. Okay, because there's a reason for it. When you hear advice, what it makes you actually feel inside is that, what, this person thinks I'm not capable of handling that. That's what it's doing to your inside. Okay, so a therapist will not, contradictory to a lot of belief that they're going to give you advice and they're going to tell you how to lead your life. Well, therapists, psychologists don't do that. And if a therapist does do it, you're not going to a good one. Okay, so we do not give you advice. I'll explain this with an analogy. It's like when you're driving on a rainy day, right, and you can't see the road ahead. Okay, so what do you need to do? You need to put on the wipers, right, of your windscreen, and only then you can see ahead. So that's what a therapist is. He's your wiper. He's going to clear the screen for you, not going to like drive for you. Okay, the road is yours, the journey is yours. We're just the wipers. We facilitate the process. That's that.
Nice, ma'am. Very nice. I loved your analogy. Very nice. Okay, next one. Post COVID, I don't feel like going out and mingling much with my group of friends. I find talking tiresome and prefer texting. I like looking at Instagram and Facebook and prefer being on my own than actually going on. Is there something wrong with me?
I think first of all, you're not the only one who's feeling this. I think A whole lot of people have felt this for the last 1.5 years, you know. Because like I said, what happened was very unnatural, right? Because we're wired for social connections, and suddenly we had to isolate. You know, we couldn't meet our loved ones, there were no gatherings. So yeah, we were just with ourselves and we withdrew. And what isolation does is it actually changes, it has physical changes in the brain. And you know, again, this is according to a lot of studies that is done, especially with people, you know, with who go on in the space and they're isolated for 361 days and you know things like that. So there are actually physical changes that take place in the brain. Okay. But the good part is that humans are creatures of habit. Okay. So when the pandemic hit, you know, we found it difficult to deal with isolation, right? Because we were used to meeting, going out, not living in fear. And suddenly we had to stop all these things. We had to stop, like, you know, a normal way of life. But, you know, as your question states, then you got used to that, you know, because we just are creatures of habit. So, like you got used to the isolation, if you gradually start putting yourself out there, you will get used to socializing as well, you know, because our brain is just so wonderful, it's so adaptable, you know. And do it, you know, because what happens is, what's going to happen is that the senses are going to go in an overdrive. So I suggest that, you know, suddenly don't say, okay, I'm going to attend a party of like 20 people. You know, try meeting like one or two people face to face. You know, do it at least, you know, twice or thrice in a month, and then gradually increase the number of people, gradually increase the frequency, because the more you expose, the more the brain is going to adjust. Even in, you know, I mean, exposure therapy is something that we do practice, in fact, with a lot of phobias. You know, we do expose you to something that you're phobic of to reduce that fear. So yes, you know, that's one way. And again, but if you feel, when you ask me that is there something wrong with me, I think that if you notice that you're having extreme moods, or you're feeling really low, or you cannot cope with your daily routine, you know, like you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to have a bath, you know, you're withdrawing yourself socially from doing things, it's impacting your work, it's impacting your relationship, there is changes in your sleep pattern and appetite, you know, you're looking at other ways to cope. So again, like I said, phone addiction, substance abuse, then you do need to seek help, you know, because then it's beyond your control, you know, so you do need to seek professional help there.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that. Next question. How can I help my friend who is going through depression?
Very, very good question. And, you know, yeah. So, first of all, I think just be with that friend in a very non-judgmental way. So, do not say this is going to pass, or other people have it worse than you. What are you complaining? Your life is so good. Okay, because when you say this to someone who's going through depression, you're totally invalidating their experience. You're minimizing their feelings. Okay, and that's not what they want to hear. Instead, what you can ask is, you know, how would you like me to support you? Okay, would you, you know, go with them to a mental health professional? Because remember, you know, going to therapy, it takes a lot of courage. It's not easy that you want, you know, you don't just wake up and say, oh, you know what, I'm not feeling good and I want to go see a therapist. No, I know that every single person who goes to therapy has probably tried everything else and it's not worked, and we're the last people they see. Okay, so it takes a lot of courage. So try to go with them, you know, see if you can set up an appointment. They will feel supported if you can go for that first appointment. Okay. uh, Also, you know, Basically, just listen. Just sit there and listen to what they have to say, listen to their feelings, uh, because the fact that they're sharing it means that they're in distress. Okay, so if you can listen without actually telling them don't do this, without, like I said, nobody likes advice, period. None of us like it. Okay, so don't advise them, just be there, hold their hand, sit next to them quietly. It's great if if the other person has an outlet. Okay, and while you do all of this, there could be a chance where the person doesn't feel better. Okay, so remember that it's not personal. Okay, it's not that you're being unable to help, it's just that they need professional help. Okay, and you've probably done everything in your capacity to help them, but they do need, it's like when you have a heart attack, right? You need to see a heart specialist. It's not going to be enough if a friend sits there and says, oh, you know what, I'm here for you, right? So you need an expert. It's the same thing, so it's not personal. Okay, secondly, with depression also comes thoughts of suicide or self-harm. Okay, now you need to ask yourself, how comfortable are you hearing these thoughts? Because I know it's not easy, to hear like I want to kill myself, or this is how I want to do it, or I'm cutting myself. It's not easy. Okay, so how comfortable are you? Secondly, when it comes to self-harm and suicide, you need to take the person to a mental health professional or an emergency in the hospital. Okay, because you cannot help there, nor the person can help. Remember, it's a matter of an impulse. That person can feel so hopeless in seconds that they can take their lives. So either you need to check with them whether you can tell a family member. If they're not, then you do need to get them to a professional. Okay, and I know there are a lot of I think suicide helplines as well, in India. So the person needs to call and do that. While you're supporting someone, you also have to, take care of yourself. Because if you're going to feel so overwhelmed and burdened with what they are sharing, you're in no position to support them. Okay, so take breaks, recharge yourself, relax yourself, and yes, remember there's only so much you can do. So, value that about yourself.
Thank you, ma'am. Next one. I find it difficult to focus on one particular thing. As a result, while I'm doing one thing, my mind is constantly on what other things need to be completed. How can I focus on what I'm doing currently?
I think first you need to understand what are the factors that affect concentration. Okay, so things like insufficient sleep. Okay, if I'm not sleeping well, I'm not going to be alert and I'm not going to be able to focus. It's biology. Okay, that's how our brain's going to work. Insufficient physical activity. If you're not moving enough, your muscles are totally fatigued, tired, not used to working. And remember, eyes, brain, they're all muscles. They need to work. The more you make them work, the better they are. Okay. Eating habits. A lot of people go on diets these days. Okay. Now, our brain needs some essential fatty acids like omega 3. Okay. Now, if you're on a diet which is depriving you of these essential fatty acids, you're totally starving your brain of the nutrients it needs, and it's not going to be able to focus. Okay, so you need to be able to take care of your brain. That's why things like fish oil and walnuts and seeds and high protein things, you need to have a balanced diet. Okay, then you need to figure out what's your environment like. you know are you trying to focus when there's a lot of noise around? Are you trying to focus when you have like a Netflix movie going on? Of course you're not going to focus. I mean, come on, our brain is wired for pleasure. you know so you're not going to focus. Okay, so how are you going to create an environment that is going to facilitate your concentration? Okay, is there enough lighting? Is there not an, no noise? you know do I have something urgent to take care of, but I'm trying to focus on something else? No, not happening. So take care of the something that is urgent. Okay, also distractions like the phone. Okay, like every now and then if I have my phone on the desk, I'm tempted to like look at my social media, right? So so you need to eliminate that distraction. Okay, things that you can do is eliminate any distraction, whether it's phone, whether it's your kids, whether it's, like I said, a pressing issue you need to take care of. We eliminate that. Reduce multitasking. Okay, our brain can actually honestly focus on only one thing at a time. Okay, so if you, and we all need to multitask, I understand that. So you make a list. Okay, when you get up in the morning, you make a to-do list and you prioritize that between 10 to 2, these are the 5 things I need to take care of. At the end of the day, you go through that list and see what all you've done and what you need to do the next day. Okay, prioritize. There will always be 100 things that you need to take care of in a day, but remember, you only have 10 working hours, right? So what do I need to take care of more? So prioritize. And everything, when you focus, things need to have, a time limit. Okay, I mean, that's what a goal is, right? If I need to complete this, then I need to complete this within this time frame. If I just say I need to complete this, my brain has understood, oh, okay, you can complete it tomorrow, day after, because it's vague. So you need to say, I need to complete this by so and so time. Okay, a timeline. Then mindfulness, meditation, okay, known for improving concentration, right? More sleep, okay, because the melatonin that gets produced helps in your brain resting, and a rested brain is more alert, is more able to focus. Okay, short breaks when you're doing something at one point of time. The length that we can focus is only 45 minutes. Okay, the moment you try to focus, you'll see your productivity decreasing. So after every 45 minutes to an hour, get up, take a 5-minute break. Okay, walk around your workspace, go for a cup of coffee, whatever you need to do. Okay, so take short breaks, because you cannot focus more than 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, train your brain. Now, how do you train? Like I said, they're muscles. The more you work at it, so things like chess. Okay, chess requires you to concentrate. Okay, play games like Sudoku. Okay, they are all mind games. They will help you improve your concentration. Okay, rule out any medical condition. Things like thyroid, any other chemical imbalances in your body, any deficiencies, rule these out medically. Consult with your doctor, because a lot of like thyroid impacts our memory, our mood, so things like that. So rule that out. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that. Next question. I'm feeling very anxious and stressed out because I have an important exam coming up in July. I keep thinking what will happen if I don't get through the place of my choice. How can I ease my anxiety? Please, sir.
Okay, so this question actually tells you that anxiety is serving a purpose. Because if you're not anxious, you probably won't prepare for the exam. Okay, and you'll be just relaxed and overconfident that you're going to crack it. So anxiety is actually serving you a purpose. However, it will come in the way like you said it is. So what you can do first, you need to understand what is anxiety. Anxiety is a futuristic emotion. Okay, it's a what if emotion. What if I don't get through? What if, this happens? What if this happens? And when those what ifs, you need to answer the what if. It's a question. So answer the question. What will happen if you don't get through? Okay. And then what, because when you know the problem, then you can find a solution. If you don't know the problem, you will never going to find the solution. Okay. So what will happen if you don't get through? Do you have a plan B? If I don't get through my choice A, what is my choice B? Because you need to have a plan B, because no matter how much you study, remember the result is not in your hands. You're not checking your own paper. Okay? So there is only so much you can do. The rest is, there are a lot of variables at play to the outcome. Okay, so yes, no matter how well you do, there could be a chance that you will not get through. So what is your plan B then? Okay. Secondly, like I said, understand the anxiety. Don't run away from it. You got to deal with it. You know, there's a beautiful saying: the only way through pain, the only way out of pain is through it. Okay, so yes, I mean, I know that we avoid these uncomfortable feelings, but remember, it's serving you a purpose. It's preparing you. So when you're anxious that you won't get through, it's telling you prepare for that plan B. Okay. So yes, the what if, answer those questions. Give that anxiety outlet. you know our feelings, our thoughts, these are energies in our body. Okay. So give it an outlet. Energy needs outlet. Okay. Anything pent up needs an outlet in terms of like a physical activity. You know, there's a reason, right? People say that you need to be doing a physical activity because it releases the happy hormones in our brain. See, emotions, feelings, thoughts, they're not alien, right? They are originate in your brain, which is an organ. So, like you take care of your stomach, your heart, your lung, you need to take care of your brain because it is biology. It's that simple. Okay. So, give that energy an outlet in terms of a physical workout. Journal your thoughts because that's another way to give it an outlet. Okay. Talk to someone. Okay, because remember, you need support. You don't have to go through this anxiety on your own. So talk to people because you know what? Maybe they have wonderful ideas. Maybe they tell you things that you have probably not thought of because you're so caught up with this anxiety. You know? So think about those things. Okay? And like I said, if it's getting too much, it's getting in your everyday routine, seek help, seek professional help.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that. Um, any questions, guys? There are questions in the query. There are no questions in the query.